Hi, this is Lindsay, one of the co-hosts of Beauties and Headcanons. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Rachel Mullins, host of #NoFilterFriday here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my new show, #NoFilterFriday, where we talk about all of the sexual misconduct allegations swirling around Hollywood. A new show drops every Friday at 8:30 Pacific Standard Time. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you'll never miss an episode of #NoFilterFriday. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
History is happening in High Point as professional baseball has come to Furniture City. Don't miss any of the action from strikeouts,
3-2 cold strike 3 right at the knees,
to web gems,
stabbed by Alfonso, he spins, throws to first, and the pick by Bichette rounds out a beautiful play.
to home runs.
High fly ball deep left field. This one is gone. Get up and get out. Tyler Ladendorf.
And of course, every Rockin' victory.
The pitch. Swing, strikeout. The Rockers win. The first win in Rockers history here at home.
Interviews, recaps, and insights from across the Atlantic League. It's all fresh off the Rockers.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Off the Rockers. This week it is the All-Star edition of Off the Rockers. I am your host, one half of the broadcast team for the Rockers, Kevin McMahon. And I thank you so much for joining me here today. And you think, you know, it's the All-Star break. We just got done with it, and there was an All-Star game, so how much news could there be? Well, guess what? There's a lot of Atlantic League news, a lot of Atlantic League in the headlines that we're going to get to very shortly. Also, we have an All-Star interview with you or for you later in the podcast. So definitely not a lousy episode. We have it's a packed episode. We have a lot of stuff going on in the pod this week, so it's going to be a great show. Let's start with the news. Let's start with the All-Star game. It was the Freedom Division who defeated the Liberty Division 4-3. The Rockers play in the Liberty Division. They had a lot of representation, which is awesome for a first-year team. I believe they had 7 All-Stars selected to the All-Star game, which is just phenomenal. The Freedom Division was the winner, and it happened in a unique fashion. Instead of going to extra innings after 9 when the game was tied 3-3, the contest was determined by a homer off, is what it's being called, which was a one-on-one style home run derby exhibition. And Isaiah Tejeda, the catcher and first baseman for the York Revolution, was the choice for the Freedom Division. And in front of a hometown crowd, he was able to get the job done. And the Freedom Division won 4-3. So very unique and pretty exciting for the hometown fans and for the York Revolution organization. So congratulations to the Freedom Division, and that's pretty awesome. Now let's get to the news, the headlines that have been swirling around that you've seen everywhere. If you've gone online and just Googled the words Atlantic League or watched, I saw something on ESPN. I mean, it is everywhere. We need to talk about it. So that is what we're going to do right now. There are some new rules that will be active in the second half, and then we'll recap the ones that are in place and have been in place this season. So it's a little confusing because it's a little bit different than your traditional baseball rules, so I will do my best to try to explain all of them quickly to you so we can get to our interview. So let's start with the changes that are active as soon as the All-Star game ended here in the second half. The pitcher is now required to step off the rubber in order to attempt a pickoff. The check swing rule will become more batter friendly. Those are rules 1 and 2, in no particular order. 1 foul bunt is permitted with 2 strikes before a strikeout is called. So you can bunt with 2 strikes. If it goes foul, it doesn't count against you unless you do it again. You get 1 in the bank. Now, here's the one that's been catching a lot of attention. Batters may steal first base on any pitch not caught in flight. The batter can be thrown out if he attempts to run. Yes, you can steal first. The best way I saw it described was that the third drop strike rule applies at any time. So now, during an at-bat, it can be an 0-0 count, 0-1 count. It doesn't matter. 1-1. Does not matter what the count is. 3-0, or 3 is a bad example, but 2-0. It does not matter what the count is. If the ball goes behind the catcher or somehow he doesn't get to it, the ball is live, and if the batter thinks he can make it to first, he can go for it. This opens a whole new scenario case that's going to challenge your mind, your strategicness. It's going to change your critical thinking during games as a manager and players. As a broadcaster, am I going to be able to remember that you can steal it first? I'm going to do my best to remember. Hard to forget with all the news. But it's an exciting time. It's a very unique time for baseball, and what a wonderful time to be in the Atlantic League and to be a High Point Rockers fan, because you can come to BB&T Point and witness history. You can see what everybody's talking about firsthand. And guess what? It is right there at your hometown team. You don't have to travel far for it. You can come right to BB&T Point and you can check out what everybody's talking about. So I'm pretty excited to see how this all shakes out. And one thing I will add, the High Point Rockers have a lot of fast guys in their lineup. So I'm interested to see how that shakes out for them and how the Rockers utilize it to their advantage. I'm really excited for these games, if you couldn't tell, with all these new rules. I think it's going to be interesting. So let's recap real quick the ones that are already active and will continue to be active for the rest of the year. So those new experimental rules will be used along with these current rules and equipment changes which were put in place at the beginning of the season. Home plate umpires will be assisted by a radar tracking system in an MLB-defined strike zone. No malvisits permitted by players or coaches other than pitching changes and medical visits. Pitchers must face a minimum of 3 batters or reach the end of an inning before they can exit the game unless that pitcher becomes injured. The size of the bases were increased from 50 inches to 18 inches square, which I love. That rule gives everybody enough real estate. Time between innings and pitching changes reduced from 205 to 145. So those are all the rules. Of course, the new rule changes really quick one more time. Then we'll get to our interview. The pitcher is required to step off the rubber in order to attempt to pick off. 1 foul bunt is permitted with 2 strikes before a strikeout is called. Batters may steal first base on any pitch not caught in flight. The batter can be thrown out if he attempts to run. The check swing rule has been made more batter-friendly. What exactly that means, we'll have to wait and see until we catch it at a Rockers game. And has the steal first base rule already come into effect? Yes, it has. We saw it last night. I'm recording this on a Sunday, so I believe we saw it on Saturday night at the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs game. So during that game, it happened. So it is already happening, folks. So it is a very exciting time to be an Atlantic League fan and to be a High Point Rocker fan. And there's a lot to celebrate this week if you are a High Point Rocker fan. Your Rockers are currently on the road against the York Revolution. They have lost 2, but they are trying to, pick themselves back up after the All-Star break and get back onto another winning streak as they prepare to come back home after a quick little road trip. But there's a lot to celebrate if you're a High Point Rockers fan. And let's start with the All-Stars. If we were lucky enough to sit down with one of the All-Stars for the Rockers and get a little conversation with him before one of the games last week and before he went to York. This is Sam Runion, relief pitcher from the bullpen, the spectacular bullpen for the Rockers, which is one of the best parts of their team. There's so many great parts of the team, and the bullpen is just one more part of the Rockers that helps them win so many games and be so special. So here's myself, Kendrick Fruits, another member of the High Point Rocker broadcast team, and relief pitcher Sam Runion, Liberty Division All-Star. Here we all are last week. Take it away, Sam Runion. Hey, Rockers fans, Kevin McMahon and Kendrick Fruits here with you this week on the podcast. We have Sam Runion with us. And Sam, let's start with, we just found out who the All-Stars are, and this will come out during the All-Star break. And you got into the All-Stars, so first-year team and one of the many All-Stars on this team, you're one of them. How does that make you feel, and what was your reaction when you got that news?
I was definitely surprised. I think I pitched pretty well at times, but it's always a surprise to be, to get the honor to be an All-Star. And, at this point in my career, it's great. I'm at the latter end of my career. It's my 13th season, so I'm really excited.
So we want to wish you congratulations on that, but then we have to wish you congratulations also on having the best hair on the team. It was close when Dante was here, but now it's no debate. So comments on that?
Yeah, so I've got kind of a Guy Fieri / Mohawk look, and the origin behind that was I was headed out to Venezuela to play winter ball, and my wife was helping a stylist with her salon, like designing her salon and everything, and she was getting all crazy colors in her hair. And before I went to Venezuela, she suggested that I get some Latino kind of vibes going before I headed down. So I got the all blonde with like lines, and I put a cross in it and everything. It was pretty cool.
It looks great. As someone who's bald, I love it. Kendrick, you have a question?
Yeah. Also, congratulations on your All-Star selection. You've been with Southern Maryland the last 2 years, and what do you attribute the change in your ERA's dropped almost a run and a half to 2 runs from the last 2 seasons? So has anything been different this year that's allowed that?
I'm not sure if anything's been drastically different as far as the baseball side of things go. It's kind of, it's just, it is what it is. I go out every year and I try to, pitch well. I don't know the factors impacting the ERA numbers. It's just kind of a fluctuation, ebb and flow. But things are definitely great over here. I'm really enjoying my time.
One thing I want to ask you about is something in batting practice we see you do every day. You help with the fielding, and today we saw you staying a little bit later helping those guys out. So how important is that to you to help the fielders out and get them right each day? It's
a good way to kind of stay closer to those guys, and those guys are your best friends back there. They're the ones making all the outs. So it's just fun for me. I love hitting fungos. I have my own personalized fungo called the Worm Burner. So it's good to get to use it, definitely. So are you you're out there every single day doing it. So are you ever looking at some of the coaches when you're getting some of those hits off and go, maybe if you ever need to sub somebody in, maybe I can give it a run? Yeah. If anything, I might be able to sneak a ground ball through the 4-hole. That's about it.
So we're about halfway through the season so far, and this being a brand new team, any favorite memories or anything already made so far this year?
I'd say, if anything, just the guys we've got in here. It's a really positive group, a very mature group. Everybody's very professional, and it's just easy to get along together, and in turn that makes the play easier. You're a member of the Rucker bullpen, and there's so many things on this team, top to bottom, offense, defense, that makes you guys so good. But the one thing that's finally getting some attention now around the league is how good the bullpen has been. And top to bottom, doesn't feel any number you call doesn't feel like you can do any wrong as Jamie or Frank to pull somebody out of there. How you're seeing it every day and you're in there. To tell the folks really how good is that bullpen? We probably don't even know how good you guys really are because we only see it every so often. Right. Yeah, it's crazy. You get a set of guys every day. And depending on the situation, it kind of changes, who's going in the game. But we kind of make a joke down in the bullpen that we've got legitimately 3 sets of 7, 8, 9 guys. You said it. We have confidence that any of us could go in any situation and succeed. So, it's kind of it's a great unit we got down there. And I'm doing some investigative journalism here. I had a theory that Dominic DeMasi was very popular after his 8 1/3 start. Can you confirm with the bullpen, was he pretty popular after that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we love to see that. And, anytime a starter goes out, we just, we wish for 7, 8, maybe 9 innings. We like to pitch, don't get us wrong, but anytime we can kind of just kick back and watch a show like that, it's a good time.
Who doesn't like a day off?
Right.
So, do you have another baseball question?
Well, yeah, this was just kind of a more fun question. So, growing up as a kid, who was your idol, the guy you wanted to emulate? And then, did you always want to be a pitcher? Did you want to be another position?
No, I've always been a PO. I mean, I'm a pitcher. I was raised by a pitcher. My dad pitched in college, and I'm not very athletic in other positions, so I was just able to throw harder. And I guess guys I watched growing up, I mean, obviously the Braves, 3 aces, they were a blast. And then Kerry Wood came along. I was about in high school then, and I tried to emulate him a little bit, which is hard to do. So.
Okay, now we're going to switch to we might ask a few more questions before we leave, but we're going to switch to like the more fun stuff. I want to know a little bit about you. So let's start with what's the last song you have on your iPod, or what's the song you listened to this week, or is there a group you've been listening to, or one of your favorites?
I mean, I'm a rocker guy. I know that's kind of corny. No pun intended. Absolutely no pun intended. But I love hard rock, metal. I make a joke to the gal in the sound booth. What's her name?
Molly.
Yeah, Molly down the line. I'll always signal up to her and throw the horns up and like make guitar gestures at her. So, gosh, bands. I love Queens of the Stone Age. Harder stuff. Mastodon out of Atlanta. They're awesome. So.
Yeah, my rock and roll, I say like the Scorpions. That's what I think is like real rock and roll, which I know is not. That's like, so that shows how rock and roll I am.
Right, and that rock's just a blanket statement. I mean, the genres are endless, but yeah, I mean, 80s stuff, that's great too. Hair bands, I think I was born in the wrong decade. I think I could have done that.
Personally, I'm a Def Leppard guy. But, all right, so if you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Superpowers. It'd be tough to not say teleporting. And it's just, the movie Jumper. Mm-hmm. That was pretty sweet.
Yeah. What's your favorite movie?
Favorite movie? Pretty recent. But I think it's one of those that comes on TV, and I could sit down and watch it all the way through, is Interstellar. Yeah, I love space. Space junkie. I love the theoretical aspect of it and the unknown and everything like that. So kind of drawn towards those movies.
Would you go to the moon? If they were like saying we can go to the moon, would you go?
I don't see why not. As long as it was safe enough. I'm not just going to go up. I mean, it's just a rock. There's not a lot. I mean, other than the view, I guess. And then the low gravity would be pretty fun.
Your favorite TV show?
Office. Hands down. Kind of upset they're taking it off Netflix. Might cancel my account.
Would your wife say you're a good cook? What's your go-to?
Yeah, I can cook a little bit. I've got some chops in the kitchen. We like to do some tandem work, and just meat and 3, I guess, would be the go-to. We make a lot of that kind of stuff.
Who would play you in a movie? If there's a movie about Sam Runion, who are you casting?
This is a pretty egotistical question. Oh, you know what? I kind of have a doppelganger, and I've been told this. It's the guy from Workaholics. I forgot his name.
Anders?
Yeah. Anders.
Yeah.
Yeah, Durs.
Yeah. I wouldn't have guessed that.
And I can't go with I can't go with like Chris Pratt or anything because too studly. You got to get in like a regular dude.
Yeah, I'm not going to give you my answer, but I'm not saying Tom Cruise for my answer either. So,
right.
Board games or video games? What's your favorite?
We this season back to the most memorable moments off the field thing, but we had a pretty good Settlers of Catan group going, and we would after the game kind of probably stay up too late playing that game. But it's
and who's
fun.
In that group? Who are some of those people that are doing that?
Schaefer, BA, Brett Austin, Almadova, that was the core four. So it's fun.
Are you guys pretty ruthless with each other?
Yeah, we're bullies. It just changes day to day. Mainly we picked on Brett because it's funny to see him get upset. But
I think as we wrap up here, last couple questions, or last question for me. By the time this comes, I'm going to break the fourth podcasting wall here. But by the time this comes out, we're recording this during the Somerset Patriots series. We don't know what's going to happen. We're in the playoff push. We don't know. Hopefully, it's a Rockers first off championship. We don't know. It'll be 2 weeks when this comes out. But how fun is it to be in this playoff race right now on a first year team and everything kind of came together and Rockers are in a really good spot right now. And regardless of what happens, set up to do big business in the second half as well.
Yeah, Jamie and Frank and Billy have put together an awesome team, as you guys have seen. And the thing about this team is, we don't really lose big. They're all just gray area games. We win big when we do because our run differential is crazy. But yeah, I don't see why not. We can't keep this thing going. Hopefully, we do pull it out in the first half. But you guys shouldn't expect anything different rolling into the second half. We're going to compete and we're going to be in very close ball games.
Last question from me. With this being a big series this weekend, does it feel like any added pressure, or is it just business as usual when you guys get here?
There's not an ounce of pressure in the clubhouse. It's crazy. Guys are loose. They're having fun just playing. And that's the great part about this league. And, this team has, as the Rockers have embraced that, as far as I could tell so far, is that it's just a place to kind of resurrect your career, for lack of a better word, I guess. Guys can't find spots to play. They come here, and it's just baseball. It's very baseball-driven. There's not a lot around it. It's just go out there, have fun, and win. Okay, I lied. One more question.
I believe this is something that doesn't get enough coverage, and I want you to help me out here. Is Bubba Birdsong the best bullpen pitcher or BP pitcher of all time? Batting practice, is he unbelievable?
Yeah.
To me, I've never seen anyone take on him. I've seen everybody hits every time.
Yeah, he's a stud, a legend. Aside from having the best name I've ever heard in baseball, he should be in that Moniker Madness game, even though he's a staff member, bullpen guy, or a BP guy. But yeah, he throws darts.
Well, Sam, we appreciate it, and good luck the rest of the way. Congrats on the All-Star game, and have a great time in York. And thanks so much for jumping on with us.
Thanks, guys.
I could talk to that guy all day. What a great interview with Sam Runion. How fun is he? Huge thanks to Sam for joining us on the podcast. It was great to talk to an all-star for the Rockers and get his opinion on everything. So much fun to talk to him, and once again, a huge thanks to him. All right, we've talked about the headlines. We've talked about the All-Star game. We talked to an All-Star. It's now time to let you know what's happening when the Rockers come back to the Point. What's left as of right now on Sunday, the Rockers play the York Revolution at 1 p.m. at the time of this recording. We do not have the result. On Monday, July 15th, they have a day off. On July 16th, 17th, 18th, they are on the road against the Lancaster Barnstormers. And then you're probably thinking, when do they come home? They come home on July 19th, the 20th, and the 21st. That's a quick 3-game homestand. So we will let you know what the promotions are for that one really quick. So when the Rockers come back, Friday, July 19th, let's groove tonight. A little disco night. So you got to join the Rockers for what's going to be a very groovy night at the ballpark. The first 1,000 fans will receive a disco ball necklace. Saturday, July 20th. It's a Saturday, so it's post-game fireworks. And then on Sunday, July 21st, it's Disney Day, Family Fun Day, Kids Run the Bases. And it's a Sunday, so you have to believe it's going to be a high sock Sunday where the Rockers wear those crazy custom socks that you can always get at the High Pint if you enjoy them. So a lot going on, even though it's only a 3-game series before they go back on the road. And they're taking on the team they last faced the last time you saw them at BB&T Point, and they put
forward some classic games. The Somerset Patriots are back in town, and if you're a Rockers fan, the Rockers are trying to start their second half the way they finished the first half on a great streak, and the way they played the entire first half. The Rockers want to complement that first half with a strong second half, and it starts by winning games at home. The Somerset Patriots coming to town. Friday and Saturday games are at 6:30, and then on Sunday the game is at 2 p.m. Kids run the bases, of course, on a Sunday. Then the Rockers go back on the road the 22nd, the 23rd, the 24th, and then they come back on the 25th, 26th, and they are all the way through until August 1st. So from the 25th to August 1st, they are back in town. So next podcast, we will let you know everything that's going down with that and get you set for that homestand as well. But the one coming up on the horizon is the 19th, the 20th, and the 21st as the High Point Rockers host the Somerset Patriots. And then next week, when they go on the road for a few days, they come back on Thursday to take on the Sugarland Skeeters, and then they're home till August 1st. So plenty of time to come out and experience Rocker baseball at BB&T Point, experience the new rules, welcome back your team, welcome back your All-Stars, and help the Rockers get back and get going for a strong second half as the Rockers look to put themselves in a playoff position and bring home some championship gold to High Point, North Carolina. But before we think about that, it's still early. It's still July. We have a lot of baseball left to be played, and I can't wait to experience Rocker baseball with you at the ballpark. But unfortunately, right now, I'm afraid I must bid you adieu, goodbye, and good night. I will see you at BB&T Point. I will see you at the ballpark. Thanks, folks. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Off the Rockers. We'll see you at the ballpark.